So before we get into the 7th day of Skylanders, I have a quick disclaimer. This video was originally meant to go live on New Year's Eve, so that then when we did the countdown to midnight, it would literally be the transition from one year into another. But unfortunately, the video was not finished in time, so what we're going to do instead is that rather than a countdown to midnight on New Year's Eve, we're doing it on New Year's Day. So the countdown is going to be transitioning between January 1st to January 2nd. It's all the same year, unfortunately. It's not quite as cool as the original concept I had planned, where the video starts in one year and ends in another. But I'm keeping the New Year's aspect of the video around still, rather than reworking this video into something else, because this is still the first video on the channel in 2025, so it's kind of like this video is a new year for the content I'm making. It's the start of 2025 as a year on this channel, rather than it being, 2025 a year in and of itself, because we're a day late to this, unfortunately. So yes, this is going live 24 hours after it was intended to. I apologise for that. It doesn't quite have the same effect, but we are still going to have the countdown towards the end of this premiere taking place at midnight. So it starts on January 1st and finishes on January 2nd. A very interesting concept still, and I hope you enjoy it all the same. But with that having been said and done, let's roll that intro without further ado. Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for the finale of the Skylanders track team portion of the carryon Locke here in the channel. We're kicking things off with Deja Vu, as she, of course, concluded the previous episode, the penultimate episode for Skylanders track team here on the carryon Locke. So naturally we're going to get a sense of Deja Vu in seeing her at the end of the episode, at the start of the episode, even after we saw her already at the end of the previous episode. So yes, seeing her again certainly has given me a sense of deja vu. Without further ado, a little bit of a rhyme there, making me purr without even knowing it, but we've hit the super bounce pad, and in the top left hand corner of the screen we can see the tech element stronger here. So let's just immediately whip her off the portal right now and replace her with the only tech Skylander I have remaining at the moment, Trigger Happy. But fortunately for us, he's so incredibly busted that the chances of losing Trigger Happy, our last tech character, they are slim to none, those chances. So without further ado, let's shoot down some enemies. Now, another thing that I need to explain about is what makes this episode so special. So the Skylanders Trap Team finale of the carryon Locke is being premiered on the 31st of December 2024. However, for the edit of this video, we're going to time things so that then, when I defeat Chaos at the end of this level, the moment his health is reduced to 0 is when we're going to usher in the new year. So this episode is incredibly ambitious in the fact that not only is it going to be the last Skylanders video of 2024, but it's also simultaneously going to be the first Skylanders video of 2025. At least for anyone living in the UK, that is, because we're basing this on the UK New Year's. So that basically means that because we're anywhere between 5 to 8 hours ahead of the US, where my main target demographic is here on YouTube, it basically means that when we bring in for New Year for 2025 with the defeat of Chaos, you guys are still going to be that far behind, so it's still you're still going to have hours remaining in 2024, even though for us in the UK it will have turned 2025 already. In fact, Australia is even further ahead of us, so Australia have been in 2025 now for several hours already. But yes, it is interesting for the way how time works in that vein, but
Skylanders of the air element are stronger in this zone.
With that being said, I went on ahead and skipped to the end of that puzzle, where now the air element is stronger here. I can't speak. Speaking is hard, okay? So, let's swap out for a little bit of Swarm, because if there's anyone who can handle themselves in a giant level such as this one, it is a giant in and of himself, and the best giant at that, even if they heavily nerfed him in this game, because when he goes to fire his projectiles, he actively fires away from the enemy. Okay, I get that they no longer want to have him so he faces his enemy at all times. That was a bit busted and made him way more maneuverable and overpowered compared to other giants. So to balance him out, he no longer turns to face enemies. But to make it so when you angle yourself to specifically face enemies with your projectile attacks and then he turns away from them, that's a different story altogether. Because at least, you know, if he just stays still and aims where you originally intended to aim, then at least it is a skill gap created for this character that didn't exist before. But instead, no, he has to turn away from his enemies. It means that opposite direction you intended, which makes a lot of the gameplay for this character now feel a lot cheaper. Like, whenever enemies hit you, it's not due to your own fault, it's because you took longer to defeat them because this character can't fucking shoot straight. And why am I using him after all of these gold plates, I hear you asking? I don't know, I just felt like it. Swarm, even with the flaws in this game, is still just that overpowered. Like how in the previous episode we don't even use Deja Vu's most overpowered attacks and she still turns out to be overpowered. That is Swarm also incarnate for you right there. Now let's grab some of this treasure right here, because Swarm is not yet maxed out treasure, unlike most of my other Skylanders it seems. And there's actually a really interesting trophy coming up that you can earn for gathering at least 9 coins in the section where you fall down the ultimate weapon. And here's a fun fact: when I first started on YouTube, I had a series called the Ultimate Series, where basically I just did a regular type video, but I added the words ultimate into the video title, and all of a sudden it elevated the video's quality tenfold, because everyone knows that the quality of a YouTube video is based on the title and no other factors whatsoever. That was a mistake, mistakes were made. But that is much better now. And to say, that was one of my first ever series I made for the channel, the Ultimate Series. But nowadays, I just don't use that same titling system. Instead, Skylanders videos are just Skylanders videos, and they have their own playlist. I have loads of those go around as well, because surprise, surprise, a Skylanders-orientated channel makes a lot of Skylanders videos. Who would have seen that plot twist come in? Once again, a plot twist to rival the twists in M. Night Shyamalan's films. I think I might have just made the director a little bit jealous with my cinematic prowess and storytelling capabilities. That being said, because we collected 9 coins going down that section right there, we would have, if I hadn't already, earned a trophy called Do a Barrel Roll, which is of course a Star Fox reference. Interesting to have a Star Fox reference in a Skylanders game. But yeah, let's take down the projectile dude first, because he is definitely our biggest threat right now. I mean, so are those guys. Those guys deal a lot of damage. Now for grenades, we can just squash them by... Oh, thank goodness for armor, I guess. Yeah, we can just squash them by walking straight into them, being a giant and all that, and then being chunky style enemies. But where's the fun in that? Ooh, this is fun. This is very fun. I like this. Don't even need to worry about getting hit. For one time Swarm does get hit, he has so much armor to just walk it off like a champ. Though I will admit, the animation afterwards is very weird when you jump back out of this projectile again. But the fact that I can just stand up here and spam this projectile is one of the things that makes Swarm as busted as he is. I mean, there's even some food there. Should I get hit and need to regenerate a small chunk of my health? Okay, now we have a broccoli guy, which obviously brings about his own kind of pains to deal with. So let's take him out because we can. Okay, I'm kind of defeating them both at once. I quite like this tactic. I mash, and I mash some more. Oh yeah. Yeah, Swarm is absolutely a swashbuckling Skylander through and through. If he was to be assigned a battle class, he has 2 blades and uses them in nimble fashion to really outmaneuver his enemies. Swarm having any ounce of maneuverability whatsoever, unlike any of the other giants, is just what puts them leagues and bounds above the rest of them, because all of the other giants have no maneuverability whatsoever. Now I've taken a lot of damage, but luckily for me, being a giant, I might have a giant hitbox, but I have a large health bar to compensate for that, to compensate for being hit a lot. I have no idea what happened to my orange slice. It's just kind of disappeared from existence. So now it's time to play it safe, defeat these guys from afar, so that then I'm in the process I'm not defeated myself. I do not want to lose Swarm this way. Okay, that was very bizarre, but we got them in the end, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter how the enemies are defeated. All that matters is that they were defeated in the end, regardless of whether I had 100 health or just 1. Health is still health. And no! Not a Traptania power treatment. Anything but a Traptania power treatment. Oh, I can't believe he's done this. So let's move along and try not to die to the orbs around here, because that would be, once again, another very embarrassing way to lose Swarm. After having been in the carryon Locke for as long as he has, I would hate to lose a long-running legacy character such as this in such a embarrassing and avoidable manner. You know, those deaths were the ones that hurt most, of the ones that were incredibly avoidable. And we've had plenty of those in this series thus far. It's shattered my heart into a million pieces several times, the extent to my own stupidity. Die, fella. Oh shit, let's get out of here before those rockets kill us. At first I was worried about the orbs, now I should really concern myself with the rockets this guy fires off. But now he's dead, and we worry about him no longer. Boom, boom, shake the room, oh yeah. That's the thing, another great thing about Swarm, his attack cycle syncs up quite perfectly with a phrase such as that. But this being said, fire is stronger now, which means that what I need, frankly, is projectiles, because melee-oriented characters stand much less of a chance against Smokescreen, and our only remaining fire Skylander of decent projectiles is Hot Dog. So it's time for him to take centre stage, and we'll see how he does. Not even being at level 20 yet, but he's close, he's on the brink, meaning that maybe a mid-game level up could be the difference between victory and defeat over here. Okay, let's get away from the bowers, because they have a nasty tendency to explode. We're just going to try and defeat this guy from afar, or at least his little minions. Yes, that's better. Take my attacks to the face, suckers! Unfortunately, we aren't hitting the smoke screen from back here. Well, we are. It's little chunks of damage, but every little helps. We're doing this much like Swarm. We're playing it like a coward, but the coward's way out is how you wind up not getting your characters killed. Okay, cool. We set up some traps for these guys. Those doggy bags were quite brutal, actually. I'm quite proud of the way how I played that there. Okay, we've got to be careful of them guys, because they can almost take up my entire health bar in one fell swoop. We've seen already the 500 damage that they can exert. Why is the water element symbol on oil barrels? Was that just an asset from a previous game that they carried over? Ow. This is what I get for looking at the camera.
I've made a huge mistake.
So what I'm going to do for Small Dash right here is I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. This is part of the 12 days of Skylanders celebration after all, and it wouldn't be a very jolly celebration without Christmas chase variants. So it would be a huge shame to not take advantage of my Snow Dash figurine. She will have a Light Core Blast, so that's going to give us a major advantage as well. But if this version of Small Dash dies, we're still going to count it as it would be an original death. But that's not going to happen anyway, because Small Dash is way too overpowered to be defeated. Though I did already mention the troubles you can run into attempting Smokescreen with melee-oriented characters. So hopefully what I've just been alluding to will not come into fruition, and hopefully I won't struggle so much. It's going to be a nightmare to get through this section, but that doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to have any more losses. Boom! Especially when that Light Core was going to take down that fella right there. Oh, the sun is turning out very useful right now also. Okay, cool. He's out of here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get close to Smokescreen in that moment because his fire was sort of in the way. Oh dear, that was a lot of damage. That's not very good. Small Dash is also not quite fully leveled up yet, which is a huge ass shame. Watch out for the grenade. Oh yes, I got my Eclipse form back. That's great. Okay, watch out for when he does his slumping abilities. Get him! Get him! Okay, I need him to die some more. Let's more dash ourselves out of there because we can, and it's funny to incorporate her name into her own attacks. That's what I love about her soul gem ability. Let's take him out. Okay, cool. Got to be very careful with Hoodsickles. They are very... Then again, pretty much everything here is a threat, so describing them as more of a threat than anything else would be unfair. You know, pretty much if it walks and it attacks, it is a threat, and it should be killed immediately. So that seems to be asking too much. And now there's two of them! Who gave them permission to have two? Oh, sweet, that's one less. And that was some really, really nutritious pizza right there. You ask me what I'm thankful at Thanksgiving? I'm thankful for pizza. Then again, I think a lot of people are. Pizza is kind of like a common thing to be thankful for. Okay, cool, he's dead. No more projectile attack stuff to deal with. As long as we're cautious. Should really listen to my advice over here, but so long as we're cautious, we should be alright. Hoodsickles always attack after the third teleportation cycle, so long as we're aware how many times they've teleported, we're going to know when they attack, like right then, for example. That's a lot of experience. Maybe for Hoodsickle will be enough to level me up, and then obviously I insta-heal from all that. So yeah, let's take advantage of our Eclipse form now, because we can. Okay, that's not quite anywhere near where I wanted it to be. Okay, let's get out of there. Luckily for us, that's what we have our dash attack for. Thank you, Soul Gem! You see what I mean? I stopped playing carefully with Hot Dog, and that cost me his life. I'm starting to play safely and strategically with Smolder Dash, and it is working a lot better than my previous tactic. My previous tactic might as well have just been die. Because that's all what I did. There was no strategy, in fact. The strategy there was no strategy. I failed to plan, so therefore my plan might as well have been to fail. And we bring down the sun! Oh, you thought that was powerful now, buddy? You ain't seen nothing yet. Boom! I love this character so much. And now he no longer has any minions to help him with all this foolish deeds. Boom! He stands no chance. You can jump up. Newsflash for you, buddy. I can jump up too. You're not special. But hey, while Smolder Dash is about to open the pickle jar right now, Hot Dog did loosen it for a little bit, you know. Not all the credit goes to Smolder Dash. Hot Dog did help us along the way, and who knows, maybe Smolder Dash could have one-shot this. Maybe she would have died, been defeated in battle, cast then can't be used throughout the remainder of the lock, only for us to then swap to Hot Dog and lose him in the same vein all over again. That would have been two losses rather than making a huge ass mistake with Hot Dog and learning from it, moving on from it. At the end of the day, the biggest mistake is not to learn from one's mistakes, and so I very much learned from my mistake with Hot Dog, and I paid attention to a video game! The only thing to make Nightmare more nightmarish is for lack of attention. That's what gets Skylanders killed, not the enemies for lack of attention. And hey, I'm very sad over Hot Dog still. Hot Dog deserved better, but he has been in this series a long time. He's got a lot of incredible moments along the way. And say, we wouldn't be here without him and the sacrifice he made getting up to this point. Smolder Dash is alive now because of him, and so his loss will not be taken in vain. Okay, so we're now done with that unskippable cutscene. I saw no point in including it in the edit, seeing as it was muted. Usually Chaos speaks to you through the speakers in the Traptanian portal, but like a sane person, I have turned those speakers off. So instead, the audio of the game would have actually been muted, and Chaos would have just been seen talking to himself like a crazy person, which technically he is, so it's not really off character for him. It's not off base, so to say. You have to be crazy to go against a whole army of Skylanders and think you're going to win, let's be honest here. But I do love the fact that Smolder Dash has her Christmas hat on right now. Once again, something particularly festive for the celebrations right now of the 12 days of Skylanders. Love being festive by nature. Okay, here we go. Let's take down these enemies some more. But this is really annoying because it means we're going to have to go into the Chaos boss fight as Small Dash, and I do not have much faith in Small Dash solo shot in Chaos, to be perfectly honest with all of you. Chaos is a little bit tough for a melee orientated character. Like, I managed to solo shot him as Wildfire. Not on Nightmare difficulty, I didn't. Wildfire is a better character than Small Dash in this game. Like, I prefer Small Dash overall. I think her design is better, and her gameplay flows a lot better than Wildfire. But Wildfire is just such a unit in this game. His damage output is absurd. By definition, he is objectively a more powerful character. And he's also fun too, because pretty much any character that overpowers the enemies is inherently fun. So it's a shame that we lose 2 Fire Skylanders in one episode, but unfortunately this game just really loves screwing over the Fire Skylanders, because fire rarely appears in this game, but when it does, it's always for the hardest sections, it feels like. Whoa, let's just stop and hit pause on the face cam for a moment here, because going into a Chaos boss fight, we know how intense it can be, but I wasn't expecting it to get as intense as it did. So, right around the 5-minute mark of the boss fight itself, I decided to quit attempting to commentate on top of the boss fight because it just demanded too much concentration from me. So because of that, I don't really have much of an exciting face cam to show you, so instead we're going to strip away the face cam entirely, we're going to play through the boss fight, and I'm going to post-commentate it instead, so that way the commentary can at least be a little more present. So without further ado, let's get into the boss fight itself. So here we are, kicking things off, of course, with Smolder Dash. I like how we can fire off a sudden projectile, and then whilst it lingers, it deals continuous damage to Chaos right now. So that is pretty much the technique I started with, and I was hoping it would be consistent throughout, but it's actually more tough to aim correctly with the sun than what you'd expect. And when you have the shockwaves on top of that, this is the intensity I was alluding to. But hey, that sun once again dealing a couple bits of lingering damage. Chaos walked straight into it, but unfortunately because he was walking towards the projectile rather than away from it, the projectile didn't deal as much damage as it could have. But now we're going to capitalise on Chaos finishing up his shockwave movement, but unfortunately at the end there we got hit twice but shielded one of them, so that certainly is convenient. But in Eclipse mode we're dealing increased damage with the whip, very convenient that indeed. I really need to get used to or get accustomed to in this boss fight jumping over multiple shockwaves at once, because that's a far more efficient means of dodging these shockwaves, like I did just there in fact. So yeah, if I did that more often and I capitalised with projectiles, then this fight with Small Dash is certainly more than doable. So here we go once again, springing into action with our whip attack. I like how Small Dash kind of pounces on her enemies, but we got hit by 2 shockwaves in a row, and by God, as you can assume, I was pissed to have lost my second favourite Skylander of all time that way. So we're moving along to Crypt King next with some very fancy looking decor right there. His fashion sense is unparalleled, obviously, but we're going to start things off with Swarm, because more of those we spawn, they not only hone in on Chaos, but when they expire, they heal up Crypt King. So any damage he takes can be instantly nullified. But yeah, the old 1-2 combo was brutal against Smolder Dash right there, and unfortunately I just wasn't very good at jumping over enough shockwaves at any one given time to then make it easier to dodge the next wave of the shocks, because they're shockwaves. But with Crypt King here, we're being a lot more efficient with the platforming when it comes to actually avoiding Chaos's attacks, which is nice. And then obviously we have the swarms on top of that, which already have stacked up like 4 times as much damage as what Small Dash did, and Crypt King has only been on the portal for about half of the time. But now we're going to capitalise once again by slowly engaging Chaos and firing off our primary attack, getting a good swing in there. It's a shame it didn't crit. And once again we got hit by 2 shockwaves, but this time it was the same damn shockwave that I just didn't jump over the first time, and then I walked straight back into it. But we did shield one of those attacks, and now Crypt King is healing up, so we're already back up to over 660 health until obviously Chaos's shields took us out and knocked us back, and now we're in a really awful position because Chaos's big head is right at the front of the camera, and it's very difficult to see Crypt King and where the shockwaves are in proximity to him. So this was pretty much the moment where I realised that I am really screwing up the gameplay by attempting to make an engaging face cam alongside it. So this is the part where I ditched the face cam entirely and decided to concentrate purely on the gameplay with, you know, only about 2 or 3 words thrown in there for the boss fight this point forward. And those words were largely screams, so I wouldn't even call them words. But that being said, Crypt King is obviously bringing in more swarms. He's attacking Chaos with his melee abilities, and every time even that he hits him with said melee abilities, not only does it have a chance to critical hit like it just did and bring down a rain of swords for increased damage, but also he's striking his swarms and causing them to glow red, having them dealing more damage in the process. So the swarms deal a lot of damage, they hone in on enemies, they stun them if they're smaller enemies. Unfortunately for Chaos that is not quite the case. He has many things, but small is not one of them. That being said, he also deals even extra damage on a critical hit. You've already dealt the extra wave of damage, so the Rain of Swords really is just insult to injury afterward. Yeah, and you wonder why Crypt King is as blistered as he is. His one move, the Swarm attack, is quite possibly the most overpowered Skylanders attack of all time. And here we are with Crypt King being able to buff it up. It has no sort of debuffs whatsoever. It is fantastic. And by that I mean the enemies have no sort of way to really deal with the swarms. The swarms themselves do debuff enemies because obviously they slow them down and stun them. So here we are, once again spawning in as many swarms as possible. Not that we need the healing, so this is the part of the fight where we're really prioritising our dodging skills, because we want to take as little damage as possible, and then our damage output can be dealt largely by our swarms. Here we go, we're almost done with the first phase, but almost doesn't quite count, does it? It's almost like we took no damage to begin with, given that we're still at full health like we were from the start. Now here comes more in-dead bullets and tech bullets. Unfortunately we can't quite take advantage of tech bullets, so all we can do is dodge them, but it is better to at least have 50% of the bullets be things that don't hurt us in any capacity whatsoever. But I'd rather take a hit from the shockwaves over a hit from the bullets, because the bullets are far more consequential. Here come the Doom Sharks, and again this is quite possibly the easiest pattern to heal up from, but take advantage of that. We don't really need to, because Crypt King's already at full health, but obviously I'd rather get the slow motion and get the healing rather than taking a hit to the Doom Shark, period. So that was primarily focusing on dodging the Doom Sharks right now, and in the process of dodging some of them, we wound up getting healed by some of them. Sometimes with Doom Sharks, that's just how it goes. Now, we're slowly but surely continuing to deplete Chaos's health bar, one little strand at a time. So we have yet another easy pattern to dodge Doom Sharks with. I really wish the patterns were this easy later on into the boss fight, where we could be utilising the healing opportunities to a lot more efficient means, shall we say. This is what happens when I focus on commentary purely. So obviously we've had the gameplay that I've already done and recorded already. That's in the past, that's been focused upon solely. Now all I need to do is focus solely on my commentary, and it makes my words just that much more intuitive, and things actually make sense, unlike in the live face cam, where it's not only silence half of the time, but also just screaming half of the time. Yeah, I did just about bring down the building with this boss fight, and I do that every time. Playing through this boss fight without any sort of screaming, that would be an achievement. But here we go once again. Not even Chaos' swarms, Crypt King swarms. What was that about me actually being able to focus on the commentary much more, and not make such silly, goofy mistakes with my commentary? Nah, we're going to make the mistakes regardless, and how much I can focus on my speech. So it's Crypt King swarms that are continuing to deal constant damage to Chaos rather consistently, and not the opposite way around, because Chaos has no swarms to use against us. If he did, then we'd pretty much be screwed, because there's no Skylander alive that can deal with the might of Crypt King's swarms. It kind of makes me glad that PvP in this game is not a thing, because Crypt King would just obliterate pretty much everything. Maybe Drobot would stand a chance, just because he could keep his distance a lot better, but even then, like, the swarms would hone in on him, and I guarantee that the swarms deal damage much quicker than what his lasers are, especially from afar. So yes, it's a shame that none of the developers were bothered enough to go through and just kind of like decrease the attack potency of some abilities of Skylanders to balance things out, and instead we lost a great mode because of it. That general laziness, but you can definitely see where they were coming from with it. More Doom Sharks and an easy pattern of that. I don't even know, well, I do know why I was bothering with the healing there, because I wasn't quite back up to 933 there yet, and that just proves as to how easy the healing was to take advantage of. But we finally move on to the second phase. The first one always feels like the longest. Luckily these phases do go by a lot more quickly, but this is where the fight really intensifies, and I've already lost one Skylander, so let's hope that Crypt King does not suffer the same fate as Small Dash. But while Small Dash is a character I prefer overall, she's just not nearly as efficient in killing bosses in this game as Crypt King is. None of the Swap Force cores are. That's the problem we've been having with the Swap Force cores in this playthrough, because yes, this game really has agenda against the Swap Force cores. Like no Swap Force cores can survive. It's like doctors in The Walking Dead. They can never ever live all that long. You just have to kill the doctors in a few seasons, otherwise, you know, they're not really a true doctor character if they don't die very quick, suddenly, and inexplicably. But here we go, Chaos is going to do the stupid attack again. We love this one. We call it the dumb stupid attack because he leaves himself exposed for so long afterwards. That attack, we heavily punished. It's fantastic. If this was Super Smash Bros. Right now, the equivalent is basically a 0 to death, because that's how punishable that move is. It's like doing Ganondorf's up tilt all over again, which is not a move you want to do in a Smash Bros. Match like ever. I don't even know why that move exists, because there's just no upsides to it, and the upsides it does have are not worth the risks and the drawbacks. So here comes Chaos attempting to break the fourth wall again. In fact, he's not really attempting to do it. That's exactly what he is doing. He's obviously acknowledging us as the player. An interesting way to conclude this game, I suppose, with all the fourth wall breaks. But Skylanders has always been about including the player. That's part of the magic of the franchise, after all. Now, Chaos almost down to half health. If he didn't heal constantly throughout this fight, then he would be down to a quarter health already. But that's where we need to get him in order for the final phase to initiate. And the question is, will Crypt King survive? Or for how long will Crypt King survive? We're about to find out. Here we go, once again, punishing the dumb stupid attack. I wish Chaos did nothing but the dumb stupid attack. That would be asking for a lot, certainly. But boy, would that mean that I would be living the dream, taking down Chaos with ease, because all he does is a dumb stupid attack. But yes, that's just asking too much. Dumb stupid attack time? No. No, of course not. But we do have Chaos bullets, which are a one-hit wonder. You get hit by them, I'm pretty sure it's 9,999 damage, so no Skylander can tank that amount of damage. No Elite, and certainly no Trapmasters such as Crypt King you see before you. Luckily for us, we avoided every single one of those. We would have took a shockwave to the face if it meant avoiding one of the Chaos bullets, but we didn't have to, because in the end we just turned out awesome, and we're continuing to be fearful of the shockwaves. They're very intimidating, coming out in packs like that. We're jumping to the left and to the right in order to give ourselves enough time to jump over each individual wave, rather than jumping over multiple ones at a single time. But much like jumping over Chaos's attack in the ending of Swap Force, I'm just not very confident when it comes to jumping over two of those waves at once. But speaking of confidence, I'm getting all the more confident that Crypt King might just survive this, getting into the final phase, still at full health. It's like he never took damage in the first place. It's brilliant. But here we go, one of Chaos's more brutal attacks, because obviously you can get hit by the initial sword strike, and then you have to deal with the shockwaves as well afterwards, ones which deal 375 damage, as obviously exemplified by Crypt King getting hit right there. So, in case it wasn't clear enough already, you have the literal visuals to back up exactly what it is I'm saying here. Let's continue jumping over the shockwaves. We're getting better at jumping over multiple ones at once, which is great. But what's not so great is Chaos is doing this attack again. It's so unpunishable. It's quite the opposite of a dumb stupid attack. I wish he did the dumb stupid attack more often. That was spurred on. That's asking for too much. Now, half health is what Chaos has remaining. That's what we have to deplete. Maybe just using Crypt King. I mean, Crypt King right here is being very efficient at opening the pickle jar. We've definitely got a couple of pickles from this, but that's only because Small Dash went on ahead and loosened it for him before, and we wouldn't be where we are right now if not for Small Dash. But boy, Crypt King is almost down to half health again, and caution shall be advised, because even if I can heal up, I can't heal up that quickly, so less damage is for merrier. That's the key after all. So here we are. Let's continue jumping over shockwaves, because that is basically 80% of this fight. here we go, watch out for that. And it's also pretty much how I've lost 80% of my characters in this fight, just doing dumb, stupid things with the shockwaves, especially when it comes to flying characters, where I go to jump over a shockwave, accidentally hit the jump button twice, all of a sudden they're in flight mode and the shockwaves are too high for them to dodge. It does get pretty ridiculous sometimes for trap team jankiness. I hate the fact that they introduced the idea of double jumping to fly, but then again they did it out for characters who have flight, that they didn't want to waste a tertiary attack for it. Characters like Chopper, who can now fly, not needing a tertiary attack to initiate said flight. But I don't know why they even thought flight was a good idea all the way back in Skylanders Bar's Adventure, because it's such a boring ability. It's carried over between multiple Skylanders, and it just doesn't really do much for your character. They're less agile that way. Like, yes, their speed and armor is increased, but ultimately that's the only reason to use flight. That, and also traversing the areas a little bit more quickly. But I'd much rather have an additional unique attack to deal damage to my enemies rather than the flight mode. At least for characters like Spyro, though, whilst in flight mode you do unlock a unique attack, such as the Earth Pound in his case. So here we are, got a shit ton of healing from Doom Sharks, because here I was earlier in the fight pointing out how easy the patterns were, and yet this was a pattern we had lying in wait, quite possibly the easiest one to take advantage of and heal from efficiently. So here we go with more chaos overpoweredness, to say the least. Yes, chaos is busted in this game, both as a character you fight against and a character you fight as. It is convenient that chaos is broken. It really rewards you for making it to that point in the game and defeating the final boss, as well as obviously purchasing a chaos trap, or taking advantage of the ultimate chaos trap if you're obviously from the Dark Edition side of things. We took one hit from a shockwave, but it was better that than the life pellets, and we take another hit from a shockwave. It's almost like I want Cooking to die at this point. What dumb stupid mistakes to make back to back. And here I am thinking that if I focus solely on the gameplay I'm going to perform better, but nope, I'm only human after all, and I'm going to make dumb stupid mistakes. A bit like Chaos here, making a dumb stupid mistake with his dumb stupid attack. We love to see it. I call it the dumb stupid attack for good reason. You think Chaos would learn? Ha! Nope. So here we go, time for more swarms to take advantage of, where they're going to hone in on Chaos. So, oh boy, no, I'm one shockwave away from death. This is terrifying. I am scared. I am very much scared. And now we have shockwaves as well as Doom Sharks, and a shockwave and a Doom Shark, and he's gone. Crypt King is gone. And now I have to rely upon the might of Elite Trigger Happy, because when in doubt, go for an Elite. But we didn't go with Elite Trigger Happy before we did Crypt King, because Crypt King, even compared to Elites, is superior somehow. My apologies if you hear that drilling in the background. Obviously my dad has chosen a very good opportunity to start with some works. But you probably can't even hear it in the background. My mic is too good for that crap to pick up like noises from far away. So Trigger Happy was just standing for a moment there, right where the sword was about to strike. Luckily he did move out of the way in time. And hey, Trigger Happy is quite possibly the most satisfying character to count down to the New Year's with, because of his bullets like consistently hitting Chaos in a rhythm basis. Oh boy, that's 2 for 1, and Trigger Happy doesn't quite have the same healing prowess as Crypt King, so he can't take nearly as much punishment as what Crypt King did, because a lot of his punishment could be nullified by the healing effects directly afterwards. But Trigger Happy does not have said luxury. But what he does have luxury of being able to do is, because he can attack in mid-air, he can just continue jumping over shockwaves and then just fire off bullets anyway. Like, there's no harm, no foul, even if they miss. But it's better to take the shots anyway, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Nice way to shoehorn in a life lesson, I suppose. But here we go with Trigger Happy. We have gotten through about half of what was left after Crypt King was defeated, and Trigger Happy has more than half of his health remaining, so hopefully this pattern continues for Elite Trigger Happy's sake. But we do have a Trigger Happy after this, Trigger Snappy, so carrying him forward into Supercharger seems practically guaranteed at this point, and that's very important because that means we get to supercharge Trigger Happy. He becomes supercharged, and therefore his Double Dare version will be unlocked. It will no longer be locked, so to say, to obviously quote the name of the series here. This is a lock, and a lot of characters are locked out, including Double Dare Trigger Happy, because, you know, we can't even utilize him in this game, so what would be the point in having him in roster? So here we go, time for more machine gun, because we're at the perfect distance, and not to mention the machine gun is quicker and it deals more damage than just mashing buttons. Plus you can just hold the button, so that gives my fingers time to rest and recuperate after just all the mashing I'm doing already. Because look at this, I'm mashing to fire off bullets every which way, and now I'm taking damage from shockwave because again I kind of stood at the direct crossfire of the swordsman there. But oh yes, this is what we're talking about, a nice easy Doom Shark pattern to deal with. Get in there. We do have to be careful once more though of the shockwaves and the Doom Sharks too, because they would have had they dealt damage to us dealt well over 500, and as you can tell, Trigger Happy has 900. 2 shots from them and he is as good as a gunner. But having Elite Trigger Happy is an advantage no matter what, because say Double Dead Trigger Happy is to be defeated in Superchargers, we have his original to fall back upon, and in this case the Elite replaces the original because it's the exact same pose and the exact same moveset as the original. The only difference being for damage output and how much health they have to begin with. So why the hell not take advantage of elites, right? They've definitely been our saving grace throughout the entirety of this series. As well as armor, let's freaking go. Armor is our savior right now. That hit could be the difference between surviving this fight and being defeated by it yet another time. We've lost 2 characters already, and in my opinion that's too many. So we need to keep our losses to a minimum moving forward. I don't mind if I do with them pet bullets, yo. Who knows? Every little chunk of health counts. So that, once again, could be the difference between being defeated or not. But man, was that massive chunk of damage thanks to a mighty machine gun. And it was perfect spacing too, because we was just outside of range of Chaos's like surrounding shockwave right there. He's done the Dungeon Tribute attack. He has done the Dungeon Tribute attack. Oh, we're going to capitalize on this. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow, Trigger Happy, absolutely fucking beasting it. And anytime now we're going to be ready to begin the countdown to the new year. So without further ado, I'm going to finish with my commentary and I'm going to let the Skylanders Academy say the rest.
Eruptor! Ow! Welcome to the party.
Party? What party?
What, you didn't see the Igknight? You better check your social media, bro. See? There you go. Now you're having fun.
Libby! Enough of that crazy catchy thing!
It's times like this I wish that my eyes were right and the world did end after 2012.
Yeah? Lummy, were you saying something?
Oh, no.
I don't care! It's time to count down to midnight. Ready? 10, 9, 7, 12,
Literally,
8,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And just like that, we have defeated Chaos and ushered in the dawn of a brand new year. So this premiere might have started back in 2024, but we're finishing it here in 2025 with the defeat of the toughest boss fight in the franchise, you could wager, that being Chaos Trap Team Nightmare Mode. And we have the credits rolling us out towards the end of the video in the top right hand corner, and we have my face cam taking center stage instead, because let's be honest here, we'd way rather watch my face rather than the credits roll for Skylanders Trap Team. So that having been said and done, I just want to take this time to thank everyone for the support you've showed me over this last year, 2024 in particular. We had a lot of high highs and low lows because videos were very lackluster in the latter half of the year. We more than made up for it in December with 19 uploads this month alone. How insane is that? In fact, throughout the entirety of the year we had 96 uploads, and with 366 days in the year it means that we had at least one upload every 4 days, and that is fairly consistent. It's just a shame we had to take those breaks in between to account for not only things taking place in my personal life, but largely to account for my change in living arrangements, as I was obviously moving out to my own studio apartment to garner my own space, but that wasn't particularly an ideal filming environment. But we've talked about that already when I returned to YouTube back in December after that fairly decently length hiatus. We only had those 2 videos in October that connected the end of August with the beginning of December for my main uploads throughout the year. I'm gonna say you guys, regardless on the quantity of the uploads, you have consistently supported this channel, and I can't begin to thank you enough. From the bottom of my heart, I deeply appreciate every last one of you. But before we roll that outro, I'm quickly going to butt in with one final announcement, and that's the fact that we are going to catch up on the episodes I've missed for the third season of 12 Days of Skylanders. Of course, we jumped from day 3 to day 7, so all of those days in between we've missed are going to be uploaded from this point forward, so we can catch up in time for January 5th, when we're going to do the 11th day of Skylanders, which is going to be the live stream for Skylanders Trap Team, and I'm going to announce the giveaway winner of the Skylanders Trap Team starter pack in that live stream. So that takes place on Sunday the 5th of January, as opposed to the 4th of January when it was originally supposed to take place, but this scheduling works out a lot better for me. Perhaps it does for all of you as well, but with that being said, it is time, without further ado, for that outro. Thank you so much for watching through to the end of this video. I deeply appreciate every last one of you, since it's viewers such as yourself which make these videos possible, and I couldn't do it without all of your unwavering support. If you enjoyed what you just saw, you can click on screen now to watch either my most recent video or a video picked out specifically just for you. You can also access the entire playlist for the video you just watched. I'll be seeing you in the next video, but until that moment arises, peace!